Ali, the by-election in Dublin Central is about 6 months away. And there's one candidate a lot of people will be talking about, and that's Gerry Hutch. And I suppose just wanted to start by asking you to clarify for our viewers, I suppose, is he going to run again?
He is going to run again. Yeah, definitely. He hasn't officially confirmed this. He hasn't on the record said this yet. But yes, he is. He's definitely running.
And what, as you understand it, is his motivation behind running again?
I think it's the same as the last time in the general election last year. Like he's never, last year he didn't have policies, I suppose. He didn't have, a huge amount of things to say. He just kept saying he wanted to run because people were asking him to run, and he thinks that disadvantaged communities like the one he grew up in the North Inner City, need a representative in Dáil Éireann. And that was kind of it.
That seemed to be his main core one message, really.
That was essentially it. And whenever he was pushed to have more policies, he was like, no, he said he always considered himself something of a community activist, which might be very surprising to people given his criminal background. But he claims that he has always cared about his community in the North Inner City.
Yeah, and I suppose one of the fears of the government last time, the government parties, and this was the established parties, was of him getting in. And now on the back of, I suppose, the spoilt votes in the presidential election, there is a sense that, could he stand a chance? But looking at the arithmetic of a by-election, you have to get 50.1%. So it seems to me that he's facing a serious uphill battle here. So have you any sense of what his campaign might look like?
I think in some ways he's going to do a lot of things exactly the same as he did in the general election campaign last year. But he's also, I think, his campaign have learned lessons from last year. And I think there's going to be kind of tweaks. So they know, obviously, that they have a good base of support in the North Inner City here outside our offices. And they managed to get a huge amount of people to register to vote. I think his campaign team, and he does have a campaign team, they also recognise that the North Inner City is just one small area of Dublin Central. They realise that there's other areas like, Glasnevin, the North Circular Road, Drumcondra, Cabra, where he wouldn't have huge support whatsoever. And people would be very critical of his very serious criminal past. And they wouldn't even consider giving him a vote. So I think he recognises this time, and his team in particular recognises this time, that they need to focus. They need to look outside of the North Inner City. If he's got any chance here, he has to. His base is his base, and he has his base, and he kind of established that in the general election. But now he needs to figure out where else he's going to get votes.
It seems very unlikely, though, he'll be able to tap into those kind of
I would think so
areas
too.
in the constituency, right? I mean, is he going to have a running mate?
Well, that's one thing that I'm hearing quite strongly from somebody, within his campaign team who's kind of closely linked to him, is that one lesson they learned last time was that, I think he looked at the major political established parties, and they always run two. So like Sinn Féin, whatever, all of them would run two candidates. And the reason for that is they know they're not going to get two candidates elected. Well, obviously in this case there's only one seat up for grabs, but even in the general election. But it's so that if the voting public like the look of one candidate, and let's say, for example, they're Sinn Féin, they might give Sinn Féin their number 2 vote then as well. So I think his campaign team now think, right, if we have a running mate, it'll only help bolster
the campaign.
Yeah, and his support and his transfers, because that's as we saw, where he really suffered in the general election campaign.
Yeah, what we saw, I suppose, last November, though, was that a lot of his transfers came from Malachy Steenson.
Yeah.
And what's his relationship with him like now?
I think it's getting a little bit fractious between the two of them. There's been a couple of things kind of said on social media. So Malachy Steenson, as you know, he's an independent candidate. He's quite outspoken about his anti-immigration views. Now, I don't think Gerry Hutch would share those views, but Gerry Hutch is also an independent candidate. He's not going to align himself to any political party. Not that I think any political party would want to align themselves
No.
with him either. You know, that's just not on the cards. But I suppose they're kind of in direct competition then. You know?
If Maliki runs as well.
If Maliki runs as well. And I think he's indicated he will.
Yeah. If the tensions are there, though, I suppose, I think, was it about 1,200 of the transfers, the 2,200 transfers came from Maliki Steens.
It was a huge amount. It really helped Hutch's
But, I mean, in this,
campaign,
as I say, 50.1%, where are those transfers going to come for him? I mean, you say, I suppose he's going to try and target those other areas, but, I mean, other parties will be as well. And, I mean, the current state of play, I suppose, is, you know, Fine Gael, it looks like Ray McAdam will probably quite likely be their candidate.
Okay.
He's the Fine Gael Lord Mayor. He's been very, you know, proactive in that space since he became Lord Mayor. Fianna Fáil, probably a bit of a bun fight because Mary Fitzpatrick is kind of there and she's run, this would be maybe her 6th or 7th time running for the Dáil, but then you've John Stevens as well, who's quite closely aligned with Bertie Ahern in that constituency.
Yes.
He's also expressed an interest in running. Labour, it's my understanding at least, they don't have a councillor in the area.
Okay.
So it looks like what I'm hearing is that it'll probably be a member of the party within that area they will run, whether it's someone prominent enough to put on a campaign. Then the Social Democrats will have a selection convention. What I'm hearing is Daniel Ennis, the councillor, would be quite likely, seems the most likely at least to get that. And then you'll probably have a smashing independents. Sinn Féin, it's not clear. Again, I'm hearing they would have, I suppose, number of councillors in the area. They'd have Seamus McGrattan, who'd be kind of almost seen as Mary Lou McDonald's right-hand man in the area.
Okay.
And then you have Janice Boylan as well.
Yeah.
She would have been Mary Lou's running mate, I suppose.
Wasn't she, in the general
She kind of
election?
tanked. She did really poorly. And the sense I'm picking up from Sinn Féin is that, or at least what the other parties are saying about Sinn Féin, is they think it's likely that they might parachute someone in to run. So, look, you'll have this kind of cast of characters, and it's not unlike what we saw, I suppose, with the presidential campaign when Catherine Connolly was the first to come out early. And the question, I suppose, is if Gerry Hutch does run again, when is he going to
announce?
And what's that going to look like?
I think there's a feeling, I think, like you say, with all of the potential candidates, no one wants to announce too quickly. There's almost a feeling like you don't want to burn too quickly out.
And we don't know when the by-election's going to be. I mean, we know it has to be held within 6 months, probably May, maybe late April.
Oh, as late as May, okay.
Yeah, it could be.
Right, yeah.
The government parties will want to give themselves the best chance. They know, or they admit, I suppose, privately, that it's incredibly unlikely that they're going to win this. But if the weather is a little bit better and all of this feeds into the thinking of when you might run. But anyway, sorry, just to go back to your point.
No, I feel Gerry Hutch will do exactly what he did the last time.
Yeah.
I think he'll drive up on a moped or a motorbike. He'll park. He'll go in with €500 and register to vote as soon as that is open to do. I think he'll do that. And I think in a way he's already begun canvassing in a kind of very low-key way. Like, for example, on Buckingham Street, just around the corner here from our office, on December 4th, there was a turning on of the Christmas tree lights. And he was there, as were a few other councillors and other politicians.
Yeah.
And he was being asked, are you going to run? Are you going to run? And he was telling people, I'm going to run.
Do you think Gerry Hutch realises, though, that having run last time is something of an aberration with some success?
Yeah.
That going into this is a much different beast. People know who he is now.
That's the thing. Yeah.
So
it's no longer like, oh my
people
God,
knew
have
who he
you
was
heard?
years before, obviously in a much different context.
Yeah.
But if he's running for a seat in the Dáil,
putting
himself out there is going to have to be something he's going to have to do.
Oh, definitely. And I mean, a lot of critics would say that, he didn't really get questioned the last time.
Well, he didn't really answer questions either.
Well, that's it. Well, he didn't do a big political debate. And he won't do one this time either, I suspect anyway. But I think more it's his criminal past that the questioning would focus on. So, I mean, the High Court has said he is the head of the Hutch organised crime group.
Yep.
They have said that. The Special Criminal Court, when he was acquitted of murder in April 2003, said they believed he had control of the weapons that were used in the Regency Hotel murder. They're on public record by the most senior members of the judiciary. So I think for that reason, a political debate would be tricky for him, and I don't think he'll do one.
Okay.
But whether or not, like you say, does he still have that wow factor that he had in the general election campaign, where everybody was just like, "This is mad. I can't believe Gerry Hutch is trying to run for election." Now everyone's like, "Oh, okay, we know this. You did this before." Like,
well, this is. And maybe just to finish on this point, actually, what if he tanks? What happens then?
I think if he tanks, it's not going to overly bother him. You know, there's a view among his campaign team that even by running, he feels it will help his community. It will help the North Inner City. That regardless, he highlights the North Inner City. Therefore, the TDs and the other people who are running, it does put, and I actually agree with this, it does put focus on deprivation in this area of the North Inner City, and that will eventually help improve things for people in those areas.
That is his message.
Ali,
thanks so much.
Thanks, Gael.